this way, the amygdala will not kick in. The people we love, and then starting from family members, then to friends, we go on like this. Only at the end, we bring in the people we find difficult. We find difficult to work with. Only then we bring in. You're giving yourself an uphill task if you're going to start with them first. You're not strong enough to do that. We are not strong enough to do that. So we need to surround ourselves with people who have goodwill towards us and try to recognize their stress, develop empathy towards them. Then you are activating the hippocampus area, the anterior cingulate cortex. You need to activate that part of the brain first. If you're going to start with difficult people first, you're going to activate the amygdala first. And an easy task becomes a difficult one. A difficult one becomes even more difficult. And so the starting point is one tip. Okay, one tip. And look at also your attitude. Are you doing mindfulness in order to suppress your negative reaction or in order to run away from this? Then you need to take this attitude. You need to use the, I keep quoting Peter Linen from the Netherlands because he expresses the Buddha's word very beautifully. He says, okay, to use the level of suffering to find a way out. If you have watched his video clip, 8 minutes video clip, it says sometimes if the level of stress is too much, we wouldn't have the capacity to cope with that. But if it's too low, we wouldn't have the motivation to do something, to do anything at all. So to actually look at a mindfulness level or compassion level, the ability to connect, that capacity level is also important. I would call this self-awareness. Any more questions?
I personally have a question for you, Van Roel, sir. I understand that mindfulness meditation definitely does give you a sense of discipline and focus, but I personally have such a terrible focus and attention span. So what would be your advice on that?
A 2-minute session is designed for people like you. You don't really need a lot of concentration. I am somebody, okay, who has never relied on deep concentration because I don't have one. In the last meditation session that I joined in the Bangu, the 2 hours, throughout hush, we do hush breathing. The mind was very focused on the breath, on the tip of the nostril. But I could still find my mind managing things, thinking about things, that habit is very strong. So what do I do is I use my thinking habit to my advantage. So I would constantly make effort to push my thinking towards positive thinking. I just check, is this negative thinking, is this positive thinking? I just check this one, very simple. If it's negative thinking, then I bring in compassion to feel my own pain, to feel my own limitation, my own shortcoming, and healing would occur. Healing would occur. But sometimes, when I look at other people, there will be time, even with this kind of mudita practice, that's positive thinking practice, there are times that negative thinking interrupts. There are times. Then I would push myself to use my thinking to find positive things in that person. That in itself is meditation. Look at the whole world, okay? How people have become more generous than before because of the COVID-19. And look at how the scientists, the virologists, how they have, and biologists, how they have gone into extra miles just to save all of us. Just to save all. And the other day, the WHO, European Union, and many other countries came together to fund this. So a lot of positive things going on. A lot of positive things going on. I actually follow the news of people doing big things to small things for each other during this, inside the country and outside the country. And I absorb as I absorb them, through my positive thinking exercise. As a result, I just think, okay, despite the COVID-19, I just think I'm so lucky to be alive at this age, in time. I mean, in this world, having a lot of wonderful people inside, outside the country. Of course, there are people whose decision might impact you directly. So, in a few weeks' time, if I ever decide to return to Oxford, to the United Kingdom, the government has just come up with a decision to quarantine everyone. But despite that inconvenience, I look at that positively, that they are trying to protect people, including me. That decision may be explainable scientifically, or it may not. We don't know. I don't think they are 100% sure either. You see, they are feeling the water as they go. I really, really sympathize with any person in power having to make a decision of this magnitude. But I can feel, they're trying to do something. They're trying to do something. Of course, this doesn't stop me from being critical. I have written an article in the OBVS comparing how the government of Germany and the United Kingdom have done so far, or have fared in response to this COVID-19. But I also take my own medicine. I give myself the benefit of doubt. I might be wrong. I covered Johns Hopkins University's data, and I do some analysis.
So as a beginner to mindful and meditation practitioner per se, I do take away that diverting positive thoughts, positive thinking will definitely help with my own habit and a new behavior, I suppose. I wanted to touch on something else which is also very concerning to us. Beside mindful and meditation, what else can we do to support our frontliners with coping with stress? Because as we all know, there is a doctor in New York City who committed suicide because she was overwhelmed and overworked. So can you please address us with what are the alternative? What if there is any other options that we should be doing or helping with our frontliners, sir?
A Buddhist practice designed for this is called deep listening. When somebody is quite frustrated, like the New York doctor, her father said that she didn't have any history of depression. But when she was overwhelmed by work, she needed to share. She needed to talk. Whatever she was witnessing around her, wasn't up to her expectation. That's what we call being overwhelmed. Maybe hospitals, maybe healthcare workers, maybe the system, maybe public health, and whatever. Beijing, just yesterday, they also acknowledge the shortcoming in that. I mean, every country, we have their shortcoming in this. So, I regret that she didn't have this one. In normal circumstances, we would call this counseling or psychotherapy session. She needed that. She needed somebody to listen to her frustration. And perhaps, also help her to see a big picture. A big picture. Of course, when you compare New York with California, as a Yankee, you're going to be frustrated with what has been happening. But things happen for that good reason. So what we can do then is to be part of the solution, to allow ourselves to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. In order to do that, we must take care of ourselves so that we don't become emotionally overwhelmed. That particular doctor, she was emotionally overwhelmed. To use Professor Richard Davidson's word, social environment, that's what she saw in the hospital. Emotional environment, that's how she reacted. Remember, at that point, in that doctor, which part of her brain would be active? So we need to take care of our healthcare workers, our frontline workers, our essential workers. With this mindfulness session and also more break in between at work. I watched how the nurses, not sure the doctor, the nurses in South Korea, how they rotate. In some hospitals, people in a PPE, they work for 2 hours. In some place, only 1 hour. That's how they take care of their healthcare work. And earlier during this COVID-19, when I listened to the superintendent of the hospital, having patient, coming to see him, and he was not prepared. So he received them unprepared. Then it turned out that one of them had virus. So this is about taking care of our frontline work. But in some places, especially in the United Kingdom, I got, through my iPhone, I got messages from my GP all the time. They say, don't come, don't call. Don't come to the clinic, and also don't call. I can understand that limit. I can understand that. But sometimes, there is a part of me that would like to complain, well, this is too much. This is too much. But then I watch my own emotional reaction and try to understand the whole system. And the Burmese doctor, Dr. Peter Kintoon, who passed away at Reading, that's Berkshire Hospital, was a close friend of mine. We have known each other for 24 years. But I'm in touch with the family, so I actually learn from inside stories as well. To give a small dose of mindfulness and compassion very often. If you can take a break every hour for 2 minutes, that's going to help you a lot. Every 2 hours. Every 1 hour. Every hour for 2 minutes. Relax. Whatever you do, you break just for 2 minutes. That's going to be very helpful. Do I answer your question?
I believe you have, sir. And just wanted to be mindful of the time, the remaining time. We have 8 minutes remaining. So I would like to ask you probably a final answer, and depending on the time left after you have answered the questions, we may or may not have another one. But so allow me to ask the next question, Venerable Sir. Due to coronavirus, some businesses have terminated staff members, and how can we as business owner compassionately handle the situation, and with what advice can you give the staff after the businesses have let them go?
I think letting the people off in any circumstances at work, this kind of thing happens all the time. But we may say that at this particular point of time is particularly more difficult. But having said this, if the business doesn't make sense, and it can go on, continue, if it's not sustainable, everybody will suffer. As a result, we need to take this one. Of course, in normal practices, employers usually take care of the employees who have to leave for a limited period of time. But having said that, okay, what is important is to tell them that this is not their fault. This is an unforeseen circumstances being imposed on all the businesses in the world. But they don't really need to feel bad personally. It's not about personal shortcoming. Rather, it's about rearranging the businesses so that it has the resilience to face this unexpected the problem, and that the problem will be longer. We don't really know. We need to tell them frankly about the uncertainty that we don't really know. We are just doing our best, and we hope with everybody sacrificing, including the business, including the employees, with everybody in those doing their bit, we hope, as we have always done in the past, every time there is financial crash, every time there is depression, every time there is war, every time there is natural disaster, that we do something and we come back. This is the beauty of the beauty and the strength of human being, of human heart. Okay. So what is important is that we are in this bad time together with other things, with other people, not just our country, but every country. So this is painful. We need to accept. We need to recognize the pain that they're going through. At the same time, they also need to recognize that a business will only survive if it makes if it's prepared to make difficult decision. And the most important thing is, as I mentioned earlier, this is not personal. Okay. But I think we have come to the end of our session. If you have any more questions, of course, tomorrow it will be in Burmese. In Burmese, you can still ask me, or you can send me your email electronically. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining today's session, and we are going to recite Buddha Pratana Siddhan Teju 3 times together to wrap up the session. Buddha Pratana Siddhan Teju, Buddha Pratana Siddhan Teju, Buddha Pratana Siddhan Teju, Tadu, Tadu, Tadu.
Everyone, on behalf of everyone at KBZ Bank and Fortune TV, I would like to thank you, Venerable Sir, for giving us the time. And everyone who attended today's live seminar, wish you all good health and stay safe. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Same to you, and more energy and more resilient to all of you. Thank you.